Audio.
Happy Sunday Gun Day, everyone. It's Mike back with episode 28 of Gun of the Week. And this week's Gun of the Week is groundbreaking in a lot of ways, so to speak. They've done a lot of things that a lot of companies have never done before, and they've kind of incorporated it all into one pistol and made it pretty fantastic, even though I had my doubts. So without further ado, this week's Gun of the Week is a Springfield Echelon Comp, or compensated. All right. So we'll get safety out of the way. Nothing in the magazine. Nothing in the chamber. All right. So let's talk all about this gun. Here we go. There's a lot to unravel with this gun because there are so many features packed into this gun. It's funny, when it first came out in 2023, I was like, oh, great. Another polymer frame weapon that's trying to compete with the Glock and the SIG. And, you know, their XD model was okay for what it was. When this came out, I had my doubts. And like anything else, I try not to buy anything the first year it comes out, because just like a car, I got to wait for the recalls and wait for all the things to go wrong. So then they fix it, and then I can buy the good version, right? So that's kind of what I did with this bad boy. I was very hesitant to buy an Echelon. When it first came out, I had a buddy that ran a gun shop, and he had one, and he let me shoot it. The very, very first gen when it came out. It was cool. Nothing to write home about. I didn't think too much of it. I just shot it, said, hey, cool, another polymer frame pistol, and then I kind of gave it back and said, let's continue. But in full disclosure, I think I have to say that because all the other big name YouTubers say it, and I want to be one of those one day. So until then, I'll keep saying it. I went out and bought this with my own money. So most of the guns I either already have or are loaned to me, or I just go out and buy them because I think they're interesting. So I did a little bit of research, and this gun is extremely interesting. And let's talk about it. All right. So first things first, we'll start out that this is the full-size 4.5-inch barrel compensated model, or also known as the Echelon Comp. They MSRP it right at around $749. Obviously, without all the extras, I added the light and the optic. Let's see. This was marketed as a duty weapon. And obviously the compensated version came out later, and that's kind of more competition, range plinking type of deal. Could be used for duty, whatever. I was hesitant at first, and now let me tell you how much I love it. So again, talk to you, 4.5-inch barrel, and it is compensated. Check out the comp, or the cut, or the porting. It's more of a chunk port than a true compensator. Obviously, this doesn't have any attachments. It's built into the barrel. So I would call it more of a chunk port, but look at the angle. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but that angle is pretty significant forward. So what that does is all that hot, high-pressure gas that's escaping out the front is being pushed in a forward and up direction, which really does help mitigate recoil. The cut on the slide to match it is pretty gigantic, and again, flows in the same direction. You can see that angle there, and does a very, very good job at mitigating recoil. I think it looks really, really good as well. They have the front sight post that is behind the comp, so it doesn't get all dirty and shoot carbon all over the sight post, which is nice. Yeah, so the compensator, it just works. I have a lot of compensated pistols, a whole lot of them. The Ramjet, this is a PMM, Parker Mount Machine. This is the backup tactical on the SIG. I mean, I have the XR920P from Shadow Systems that has a compensator on it. So a lot of compensated pistols, and this is definitely on par with them. So the recoil mitigation and how flat I can get this to run is actually pretty surprising for what I would call a stock pistol, because this is factory stock for the most part. Really, really good. The slide itself is really cool. They have very aggressive front cocking serrations. They have this ledge here, or they call it a forward trench.
You leave me in the trenches taking grenades, John.
It's on both sides, and it's just this deep cut. And that allows you to get a really, really, really good purchase on this gun, or even if your hands are slippery. Let me see if I can get, yep, and they slide back a little bit. They catch that trench there, and I'm still able to manipulate the slide. So under stress or speed or wet, bloody, whatever hands, still really, really good purchase if you do decide to grab by the front of the slide. So that's really cool. The other cool feature that these have is the rear trench, I guess you could call it, or what do they call it? Just a flare side. So I don't know if you could see that there, but on the built into the slide, you can see that it has those wings, right? And those wings just do a really, really good job at helping get grip. So they're deep, they're easy to grab onto, and they look really, really nice. So this slide has a whole bunch of features packed into it. I really, really like it. It just works. Looks good. They're functional. Yeah. Needed to take a second to get to the optics mounting system, because the optics mounting system is one of the things that really, or that also sets this gun apart from most others. So the slide is a direct mount for 30 different types of optics. So companies and footprints and so on and so forth, you can get 30 different optics to direct mount to this slide. How did they do that? Well, let me show you. It's pretty nifty how they did it. If you were to take this off, I already mounted it. I'm not taking it off. But when you pull this off, there's like 15, I don't even know how many, but there's a lot of different holes in the top of this slide. And what that allows for is they give you all of the hardware that you could possibly utilize to mount all those different types of optics. So, yep, no plates needed, Mike, none at all. What they have is they have these little set flanges or set, I don't even know what to call them, but they're not screws. But basically what they do, they're posts that you put in properly in the right area to match the footprint of your optic. And just like how an RMR, if you're familiar with the RMR footprint, has the two holes up at the front to help eliminate the side-to-side wiggle and movement, you put the proper stakes or whatever you want to call them in the proper spot. And then there's a holes to drill, not to drill, to put the screws straight in. So yes, all different optics mounts are direct mounted to this gun. So they did an awesome job, and they give you all of the hardware. They even give you the proper length screws for whichever gun, or whichever optic you're going to use. I don't know if you can see it in the baggie without dumping it out, but they give you all of the hardware from the factory. So that is freaking awesome. Just options. Everyone likes options, right? You want a Delta Point Pro? No problem. Get yourself a Delta Point Pro. Yeah, so awesome for Springfield. Let's see. The sights are pretty interesting. They have this U-notch sight, and then down, obviously, there's a green tritium. So there is a model that has the 3-dot tritium night sights. And then I also have let me see if I can get it to focus here, my Trijicon RMR, there's the dot, my Trijicon RMR, 3.25 MOA. They I don't want to say they co-witness, but you probably get a 1/3 or a 1/5 co-witness through the optic. So if again, this goes down for whatever reason, I can still align my sights proper and shoot iron sights if I need to. So that's really, really great. Again, the fact that this is direct mounted, it sits so low, you don't need to change the sights. And if you don't like the U-notch sights, which I'm personally not a fan of, but it's just what they had in stock yesterday, but you can get the 3-dot. But I rely 99% of the time on my optic, and then the 1% will be on my backup sights, in which I can shoot these just fine. It is what it is. Most definitely not a deal breaker. Let me go first and tell you guys one of the best things about this gun. One of the best things about this gun, aside from being able to direct mount all the different optics, is this has an FCU type of operating system or trigger group on the inside. They don't call it an FCU, which is a firing control group. They call it a central operating group, or a COG. So the COG, just like a P365 or a P320 or a ZEV, you can take the guts, which is the serialized part, out of the gun, or you can take the COG out of the gun and put it into different grip modules. So it is a modular pistol. I can take this is the medium size grip. They have a small, medium, and a large. Aftermarket companies are already making grip modules for this weapon. So I love that. That's got to be just the way of the future, right? One gun can do it all. I can buy this gun and I can get a compact frame. I can get a smaller frame if I have a small, tiny hands. I can get a larger frame if I got mammoth hands. They come in different colors. And then again, the aftermarket support for the grip modules are awesome. I know of 3 right off the bat. We have the Sharps Brothers is making a aluminum I believe it's aluminum or a steel frame for grip module for these. Icarus Precision makes one. That's awesome. I'm trying to find one right now. And then there's another company called Height Defense. They make a PDW chassis. So a personal defense weapon, like a miniature Roni chassis or however you call it, has pops out with a little stock. You can take the cog out of this, put it in theirs, and it runs flawless. Well, I don't know if it runs flawless, but it runs, right? And it's all one serialized cog. So that's awesome. From the factory, these colors, you can get it in black, you can get it in OD green, and you can get it in FDE, which is awesome that they offer that. They're $65. So if I wanted a polymer frame from the factory, I could just go on their website, purchase it, and it's $65, and boom, I'm good to go. So I love that. And again, small, medium, and large. Adjustable back straps. These back straps you can adjust. You can see the crease there. They look like this. So they have this thing that goes up into the top of the gun that locks it in, locks in place here. So it is toolless. I do not need to hammer out a set screw or a pin to get this off. I can do it by hand, which is really cool. Pretty simple stuff. And the entire pistol is completely ambidextrous. So you have a slide stop and slide release and a magazine release on both sides of the gun. So it is a true ambidextrous weapon. Lefties can shoot this like normal, righties can shoot it like normal, and if you're that lucky person that can do both, this gun is really, really great. The grip, the way that it feels, I personally love it. This texture, it's grippy, but at the same time, it's kind of not. Maybe a set of Talon grips or some type of stippling or something could help this out a little bit. I'm not saying it's slippery, but it's also not that sticky. But at the same time, the contouring, the overall shape, the circumference in the hand feels phenomenal. I shot this for the first time today.
All right, so I don't know how much you're gonna be able to hear me, but I'm gonna try to get this done as quick as I can. Just Springfield Comp, and then I have never shot it before, have not sighted it. My first time shooting it. I love it. It's fantastic. The chunk port really does cut down on recoil. Really does.
And it was amazing. Like I said, I shot it when it first came out one time back in 2023. But today I shot this for the first time and actually got to shoot the Echelon, like truly shoot it for the first time and actually pay attention. And it was awesome. This grip is phenomenal. The takedown lever is just like a SIG P320. Oh yeah, probably got to lock it back, just push it straight down. I do not have to pull the trigger to disassemble, so that's cool, right? This is straight down. I take a push down on a slide release and it comes straight off. I'm not going to do it, but you get the picture. It does have ambidextrous index ledges on both sides. So you see how it's kind of fattened and raised there. So again, if you prescribe to the whole thumb pressure down on the gun, you can use it to help mitigate recoil, or an index point here. Really, really cool that it comes like that from the factory. Very nice undercutting and some texturing there as well for your support hand. So again, just jam-packed full of features. Obviously, it does have a full-length 1913 rail. I have an X300U on there. But yeah, just jam-packed full of features. Changing stuff on it is a breeze. There's only one pin to take down, and it's it's pretty amazing. So taking out that pin, you can change triggers, you can change the magazine releases. Springer Precision and a few other companies make a lot of good aftermarket parts for this already, magwells and so on. I'll probably look into getting that. This isn't the widest or easiest magwell to hit at speed, but it's also not impossible. But with a little aftermarket support, you can make anything pretty badass, right? So yeah, that's the frame and the grip modules. I just wanted to make sure that I covered everything I wanted to cover with it. Recoil spring is at a 16 pounds. So pretty standard for a polymer frame pistol. The reliability on this so far was great. I mean, I probably only shot maybe 200 to 300 rounds through it today, but doing a little bit of research and watching some other videos and reviews and stuff like that, not a lot of people have negative things to say about this gun. As far as its reliability being marketed as a duty weapon, I actually think it's a very viable option. It is something that has so many features, which is great if you have, a police department or, sheriff's department or something with hundreds or even thousands of officers all liking different things. This can accommodate, I would say, the vast majority. They make these thinner in size. They make them longer and shorter in size. So they have a compact version that's out. They even have a version of this weapon that has an external safety. For those of you that like external safeties because you don't trust striker fire pistols for whatever reason, they make it. So like I said it, probably a lot of times, and I'm sorry for repeating myself, but the features that this has is pretty insane. One thing to note is the slide lock and slide release. It's tiny. That could be a good and a bad thing, right? A lot of people, or some people, get a really, really high grip and usually hold down on the slide release or the slide lock. That doesn't allow the slide to open when it's empty, or to lock open when it's empty. And on the other flip coin of that is that sometimes it's hard to hit it going fast or at speed. But I would say, again, like anything else, that's a training thing. You train with this enough and you do it enough, it's not going to be an issue. But going from something like a Glock or a SIG that's, big and predominant to this, you might miss it once or twice, like I did today at the range. Trying to go fast and just trying to play with it, it was definitely a learning curve to remember how small that is. But it is ambidextrous, so that's pretty cool. And I'm sure somebody out there makes an aftermarket slide lock, slide release that's a little bit bigger, beefier. So take that for what it's worth as well. So yeah, magazines. They're proprietary magazines, meaning these are just Echelon magazines. They don't take any other type of Glock or any other type of pattern magazine, so they're proprietary to the Echelon. They are aluminum, so I do like that. They come with a extension, which takes this to 20 plus one in the chamber, so you could have a potential of 21 rounds. It comes like this from the factory, and then it comes with a second mag that is a flush fit magazine. but they also give you another extension in the box. So it came with the flush fit magazine, which makes this a 17 round plus one. But in the box came another extension to make the magazine a 20 plus one. So I don't plan on concealing it or carrying this. So I'll take 20 rounds in my magazines all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. So that's pretty awesome. I really, really like the magazines. I've had no issues. Again, the gun's brand new, but that's usually when you get the most issues, is when the gun is brand new. So I didn't have any malfunctions. It locked open every single time today. Yeah, just, it was solid. Comes in the box. All the literature and this thing that I don't even know what it is. I think it's a necklace, right? It's a necklace. You put that around your neck and you wear it. No. And it does come with a magazine assist, but buy yourself an Uplula and just be done, because all the other ones suck in comparison. And then inside that box, there's a little bag, and that's what the gun actually comes in, this little carrying bag. I actually like it because it's just enough for the gun, which is nice. It fits in my range bag easily. And there's a little pocket in there so I can bring my back straps if I need to, and I can bring all my mounting equipment and stuff just in case I have an issue out on the range. So I really, really do like this gun. I had my doubts, but yeah, so I didn't think I was going to like this gun when it first came out, because I just thought another polymer frame gun. But this is the first time I got to actually really shoot it and play with it and actually, pay attention to the features and functions it has. And I freaking love it. The shootability is amazing. It shoots flat. I had no problem with accuracy. I've heard at least one YouTuber say he had an issue with accuracy. I did not have that issue. I was stacking rounds, 7, 10, 12, 15 yards, pretty easily offhand. And yeah, so the trigger. One last thing, I didn't cover the trigger, but the trigger is actually really, really nice. There's a little bit of a take-up like any other polymer frame or, striker fire, but then once you're on that wall, it's a pretty crisp break. And the reset right there. So really not a lot at all. The trigger is actually really nice. It does pull at about 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds. I did put it on the trigger gauge earlier, and it was consistently at about 5 pounds, which is typical for, a polymer duty style weapon. But it just feels nice. It actually feels nicer than a Glock trigger to me. And again, I've shot Glock my entire life. I've shot SIG. I've competed with SIG. I've competed with Glock, and I like this trigger way better. Way better. So the moral of today's story is that the Springfield Echelon was an underdog in my story, and I really, really like it. I'm going to get my hands on an Icarus Precision grip module that's aluminum, and I think with the comp and all the extras that this has, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it, but I just like it. This might even be my home defense gun. I like it that much. And it is reliable so far. And again, according to a lot of the stuff I've seen online, very reliable. So that's the gun of the week. That's the Springfield Echelon. I appreciate you guys tuning in and interacting with me. I got some training coming up on Sunday, July 13th. It's a pistol drills and skills over at Gun World of South Florida. I'm probably not going to use this. I want to, but I'm probably not going to use this. I'm probably going to stick to my MPA so I can get some rounds downrange with my competition gun. But come train with me. I'm blending tactical shooting with competition shooting to make just overall shooters better. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're only shooting competition, you're missing a tactical aspect. If you're only thinking, law enforcement, tactical SWAT shooting, you're missing a competitive aspect to it. I can tell you right now, learning a little bit of both and blending them together makes you a very dangerous and phenomenal shooter. Better than just an extreme one or the other, in my opinion. So that's my whole goal. come on out with me and let's put it together. All right. www.oneshotdefense.us. And again, I'd like to thank Black Scorpion Gears, my sponsor. They make amazing holsters for competitive shooting as well as law enforcement and tactical and concealed carry. So check them out at www.blackscorpiongear.com. Code ONESHOT10 at checkout. A little something for you, a little something for me. Win-win. All right. You guys have a great rest of your night. Take care.